follow Chairman Mao. Get out of the classroom. Devote yourself to the Cultural Revolution. Revolution is not a dinner party, writing an essay, painting a picture, or doing embroidery. It can be done elegantly or gently. Chairman Mao is great, and so are his words.
You are against the revolution, so therefore you have no right to speak. Your parents are bad people. They are the class enemy. You and your brother should make a clear line from them. You don't have freedom. You have no future in this place. Everyone will stand on you.
My parents are a class enemy? Do you really know what you are talking? I don't understand this. Why do my classmates and best friends like you have become the ones who broke into my house like burglars? Have you heard the screaming? That never stops. Each time I fall asleep, it wakes me up. You don't realize what you're doing, do you?
Don't say nonsense. You only see part of the picture. You see the whole. You see phenomena. We should know its essence. Let Chairman Mao's idea occupy all positions. Use it to transform the mental outlook of the whole of society. Sweep away all ghosts and monsters, and then we can build a whole new promising society.
There's no need to tell a long story. Now, open up. The red guards are going to search your home in passing.
Looking into this story, we couldn't help thinking that during the Cultural Revolution, what helped Mao to regain authority over China? Mao Zedong was a leader, spokesperson, and the symbol of the Communist Revolution in China. When Mao came to power in 1949, immediate land reforms brought a temporary end to millennia of unproductive farming methods, poor harvests, and famines. But his revolutionary spirit did not end there, and thus Mao undertook the greatest economic reform since Stalin's colonization of agriculture. The Great Leap Forward started as a life-changing movement, as a sole event that would bring China onto the world stage and get peasants the lives they deserved.
It is a significant historical event because it completely changed the culture and society of the country from its core in only a few years of armed conflict and a decade of political struggle. It is worthy of investigation since it is Mao's most important legacy and still affects China. It completely erased previous social norms and traditions, led to the creation of the new customs, and changed the value of the people, the core of Chinese society.
Mao became the leader of China when the time was in turmoil. There had been decades of war and the country was economically devastated as a result. Likewise, there was little stability as a consequence of the years of fighting. Under Mao's leadership, China became more stable. It is hard to criticize whether Mao was a hero of China or not, especially during the time of chaos. What we learn from the history is that many of these achievements came at great human costs.
The passionate Red Guards, determined to sacrifice for the nation and for the leader. The peasants in the great countryside danced for joy, celebrating the late justice for the poor. At that time, the people had fully received Mao's ideals, so they didn't have feelings for the past era. The people who had property and took good education were seen as enemies. The history reflected different national identifications by different people, and the people in China finally went mad under all kinds of psychological conflict.
Even though many people died as a result of the Cultural Revolution, and a policy poured funds into statues and pictures where economic advancements were perhaps more important. When we look back into this part of history, either overpraising Mao's ideas or denigrating Mao's contribution on China is actually harmful for a full understanding of this period. Both can lead to bigotry and make us victims to our own preconceptions.
When I started to write, I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to write down what I had experienced during the 10 years Cultural Revolution. My dear readers, I do hope that you can experience the time by reading through my words. I'm Jiang Jili. I was a Red Guard, and I'm also a storyteller who is now telling the story of China's Cultural Revolution.